Welcome to the NOWcast Game of Thrones Postcast with me, Josh, and this guy, Alfie. This is the show that literally 10 people will listen to. Let's give it a go, shall we? So because of last week, we had so many issues trying to record last week.
Illness.
So we had
Canadians.
We had one of those Canadian people.
Yeah.
That was your friend came down, so our normal scheduled recording day couldn't be done. Then the next day there was like flash floods, essentially.
Yes.
So we couldn't record then. And then you basically came down with super AIDS.
Yeah. So this is the podcast that God does not want you to hear.
Yeah. There's tangible proof of God because this podcast just cannot be recorded in the same week.
Yeah. Exactly. And it all amalgamated into me being extremely ill over the weekend.
It was
so I couldn't even do it on my first weekend off work for like 5-6 weeks, like full weekend off work, where I've got 2 days of nothing. I was just ill.
I think the part that, because I still popped over to see how Alfie was doing on, I think Friday. Was it Thursday or Friday?
Thursday it was, yeah.
So I popped down on Thursday, and I think the bit to me that just summed up how ill Alfie was is we were watching on YouTube, and I said, yeah, it's the video to the left, and he just went right, sat there for about 10 seconds, and when I said that was right, he just went, and just made groaning noises.
I could not see out of my left eye at that point. I'd gone completely blind because I think I coughed and I had like a shooting pain up the back of my neck that went around my skull and it felt like it went into my eyeball, my left eyeball, and I was just like, I gave up at that point. And anything I tried to read just turned into gibberish.
I wanted to make sure that was on the right setting then.
Yeah, it's on the podcast setting.
Yes, there's several settings.
Podcast setting.
One of them is podcast. So we're trying a new audio setup this week, right? If it sounds like shit, basically it's Alfie's fault. If it sounds like shit, tell me and I'll tell Alfie he's a bad person and to sort it out.
Yeah, and tell me, and then I'll tell Mac that their aggregate device thing doesn't work. Well, this is either this or me paying like 150 quid for some kind of mixer.
Yeah, but the thing is,
they're going to do one for like 20 quid.
The thing is, though,
I think.
But then mixers are awful with, like, most of them can't use USB because of the compression rate and that. So then it's 150 quid for the mixer, and then I suppose putting in another like 100 quid on top of that each for a microphone.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
No.
Not going to do that.
Unless we start making money from this podcast. If that happened, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But then maybe we would also record it in like a small rented studio as opposed to your living room.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by God.
So should we actually talk about...
God's going to cut this podcast in a second.
Let's talk about actual Game of Thrones, shall we?
I think God's just a bit annoyed because it's GOT podcast, not GOD podcast.
Oh, yeah, if it was the Godcast.
The Godcast, yeah.
The Godcast Postcast.
Yeah.
Everything after 2000 days.
Yeah. And what did he do on the 7th day? Oh, spoilers.
So
this is a bumper episode again because of all them acts of God.
I feel like... So our first ever episode was technically a bumper episode, and it was only an hour, right?
Yeah.
And we then assumed every other episode would be about half an hour, and we've gone to like 1:10 every other episode. I feel like this is going to be like a 2-hour episode.
It might be, but depending on what we're going to focus on, because the 2 episodes are very, very different.
Yes. I think we have quite different opinions on them as well, don't we? Because just based on... We haven't really sat down and chatted about this between us yet, but based on just like little stuff we've chatted on Facebook, you really liked episode 4 and didn't really like episode 5, and I'm the reverse.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of interesting. And,
basically. And the way in which we normally judge that is I send Josh a message with,
oh
my God, or meh, and then followed by GOT, and then an emoji.
Because you watch it like a lot earlier in the day than me do. Me do.
Yeah, because I normally start work at 10, so...
And I wait for my dad to come back from work.
Yeah.
So I watch it like 7.
I then again watch it at 7 and do notes.
I do notes as I watch it the first time because I'm professional like that.
Oh no, I've got to sit down and watch it and gather what's going on. Because if I'm making notes and someone says something like, oh, did you know that these people... What's an annulment? And then I'll completely miss it.
Because that's a very important
Completely
scene.
missed it.
That's a very important scene.
Yeah, that shoves it right in your face.
Although, have you seen the amount of people who are claiming patriarchy on that? Which is hilarious.
Patriarchy?
Yes.
We'll come on to it. Because Sam... Okay, we'll come on to it, yeah. Yeah, no problem. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So...
We'll come on to it. So, first of all... Okay, this is a ladder, Sansa.
Oh, no.
It's a ladder. So, fucking... episode 4. That's what we're going to start with. So, it's Bran and Littlefinger. And Bran's just like, ladder, Sansa. And Littlefinger's like, no! Do I sound like that? And he's like, ladder.
Yeah.
What? Why do you keep moving that?
Oh, this is your water, isn't it?
I thought so.
I'm thinking, why is my water so far away
But
from
then I was like, have he's fucking about this? Like, he's like, do you want some water? I was like, yes, please. Brings over this cup, puts it down, and has now like been moving it closer to him continually. And I was like, have I done something? What's going on? I was like, oh, well, we're just drinking at the same mug, I guess.
Oh, well.
Right, yes. So,
Bran and Littlefinger.
And basically, Bran kind of alludes to the fact, like, he lets Littlefinger know that he knows stuff he could never be able to see.
Yes.
Right? Puts Littlefinger on the back foot. Littlefinger's like, here's this dagger, which was the one that was that he gave to the cat's paw to try and kill Bran in season 1. But Bran, once again proving that he's a useless cunt, has no context for that, and just is like, oh, great, a dagger. Did you see my sister get raped? She was very pretty.
Yeah.
And, like, so, I get the idea that Bran is the three-eyed raven, right? So he's basically had all of history sort of crammed into his head. But when the plot demands him to have immaculate clarity of the situation, he does.
Yeah.
At all other scenes where it would be useful, he's just like, oh, so much knowledge. You know what, right? If you are now the three-eyed raven, and you've been running from the Night King, and you've got all that knowledge, so you know for all these years how the Night King, the Long Night, has been building. It's a threat. It's coming. Stop looking back hundreds of years. Stop getting confused, motherfucker. Look at what's happened to your family for the past year.
I swear the three-eyed raven who was in the tree before him, or Bran the Elder, or whatever you want to go with, he was a little bit more emotional than Bran is at the moment.
Yeah.
However, he could just be desensitized to absolutely everything. Because, like, we've just seen a concentrated version of Game of Thrones and everything, and he might have just seen the whole history, but the whole history potentially repeats itself over and over again.
But, I mean, he's like, I've got to get better at looking. Voyeuristic as fuck, by the way.
Yeah.
But, like, condense. Be like, right, what's important? Okay, who can I trust? Well, let's have a quick background check in my fucking mind internet for the past 2 years, say, of everyone who's here claiming to be a helpful person now, to make sure they're going to help us. Dring, okay, young Royce, questionable things, but at least he was trying to do good, so he's fine. Dring, Tormund, yeah, okay, he's a wildling, but he seems to be honourable, okay. Littlefinger, oh my god, what the fuck, oh my god, no, get rid of him, he's a cunt, let's be done with Littlefinger.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and I thought that was what was going to happen, because...
I still think Arya's going to end up killing Littlefinger.
Well, yeah, she is, isn't she? Because he's just trying to set her up there at the moment, but I think that it's going to happen one point. Bran's just going to be like, oh, Littlefinger did this, and then they're like, what?
Had her, Sansa.
I think he's just going to adopt more. He's going to marry Sansa and then adopt Bran and Arya.
That's going to be weird.
That would be weird, but he loves it.
So...
Or he like falls in love with Sansa, gets pregnant, she gives birth to a child who's a girl, and he falls in love with that because he's just
carrying on tradition.
Yeah, it's just going to keep going.
So then we move on to Arya returning through the gates of Winterfell.
Yeah.
I didn't think much of this scene. It wasn't bad. Like, it was interesting, but it's just the fact that, like, why is it that every 2 guardsmen ever in all of Westeros is like the Cockney dickhead duo who are like, fuck off and all that. And it repeats, doesn't it? Because from season 1, when she's at the Red Keep.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck off. And she's like, I live here. And they're like, no, you fucking don't. It's near enough an exact repeat of that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I guess that's maybe the only part. Like, so I guess it's there for a throwback, is my point.
It's also, I can't remember what it was. There's an old there's an old classical tale thing about someone not being invited into a keep. I should have done my research.
Yeah, it's called Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, basically. It's like, let me know, you old hag.
If you think about it, right?
No, you old hag.
Just to go on a tangent, the moral of the Beauty and the Beast is always let strangers into your house. Because...
always fear strangers.
Well, the thing is, isn't he like, in the original Beauty and the Beast, isn't he like 10? And he's opening the door, and the switch is like, let me in. He's like, no, Mummy and Dad told me not to let strange people in my house. And she's like, be cursed forever, you cunt!
Yeah.
It's like, bit of an extreme reaction.
It is. I don't know what the moral of that story is.
Right, let's go back. Yes.
That's for our Beauty and the Beast cast.
Yeah, next time on Beauty and the Beast cast. They mentioned that the crypts don't, like, the statue doesn't look like much like Ned. I mean, it looked enough like him, I thought, compared to all the other statues.
You know what I thought was quite amusing? That's obviously in there because probably previously when they've shown a picture of the statue, fans have probably gone like, that doesn't look like Ned. I thought maybe that they were stating it doesn't look much like him because it's not him, it's the bloke. Is it Jack and Hagar? Because it looks like Jack and Hagar.
We're both going, like, I think we're both quite a big fan, at least I know I am, I should say, of the theory that Ned's actually still alive.
Yes.
And that it was Jack and he's now earned, like, and now he's repaying his debt in Bravos. Basically, Ned's still alive, it was Jack and Hagar who got beheaded in his place, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is, I want it to be true, but I also don't at the same time. Because I feel like it'd be really cool because I loved Ned, really cool character, but it also like it would kind of ruin the premise of Game of Thrones because fuck's sake, the same thing applies to Walking Dead as Game of Thrones.
The White Walking Dead.
The idea is that any main character realistically can die.
Yeah,
like no one overly has plot armor for very long. No. And so it would kind of take a big foundation of that away from Game of Thrones if Ned suddenly turned up.
Yeah.
But that being said, I want him back because I love Ned very much. And seeing him back at leading the armies of Winterfell would be really cool. And I also think it'd be kind of cool because, obviously they're very much pushing Jon being a Targaryen. Like that's we'll discuss that in the next couple of episodes, but that's coming to light. And it's like because he's never really been part of House Stark, it's going to totally remove him from House Stark. Right?
Yeah.
And then you've got, Bran basically removed from House Stark, as is Arya. Sansa kind of is, but like someone pointed out in one of the earlier episodes, she was a Lannister, then a Bolton. Is she really a Stark anymore?
Yeah.
I know, when you just feel like it would... I'm trying to say is so many big, great houses are being destroyed in this war. It would be nice to see the Stark one not be destroyed as well, if you see what I mean. And I feel like Ned coming back would be like, rah! I'm fucking it, Stark. Winter is fuck it's here.
The only I think the only issue is character wise with Ned being Jaqen, if that's how you pronounce it. How do you pronounce his name? Jaqen. That problem. The only problem is with that is that he's basically left his wife to die, who we know he really loved anyway. So I don't think that would ever happen. Even if he was Jaqen, he would go and kill him anyway.
The idea, though, isn't it, is that he's been sort of trapped by the Faceless Men, as it were, till he's repaid his debt in Bravos.
Oh right, yeah.
That's the prevailing theory.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't think it will happen. I think it's just one of those fan things where it's like you want it to happen because you like the character.
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine at the beginning of the next season, and whatever's happened with the White Walkers and everything, and then Ned just appears at the wall. He's like, "Help! Someone call two."
Right, let's get back to right.
Yeah, so Arya comes home, and then she's
Sansa is like, ha 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 ha, kill this, ha 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 ha, and Arya's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, bitch. You were on that list at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
Bran keeps being fucking creepy. Meanwhile, in the Godswood, he proves to Arya that he could see her at the crossroads, going north or south.
Yeah,
and then he gives her the family killing dagger.
Yeah, which is quite interesting because Sansa's like, well, he's not going to give it to you for any reason. He wants something in return. He's like, that's okay, I don't want it. So it's obviously not for him, though, is it? It's because basically Littlefinger's just trying to wind them all up. He's just trying to split them up because he knows he's screwed. You've got a telepathic kid.
You've got Charles Xavier.
You've got an assassin child. And then you've got Sansa,
who hasn't really done it.
who hasn't got any special
Sansa's
powers.
pretty much famous for getting raped at this point.
Yeah, she hasn't got any special
The thing
powers.
is, though, I used to hate the Sansa character. I really fucking love her now because I feel like she's going to do some really badass stuff.
I'm surprised she hasn't gone mad already. I'm surprised she hasn't gone Cersei-wise on people. She seems quite forgiving in a sense.
But, so then we move on to that incredibly cool sparring session between Arya and Brienne.
Yes.
Where Brienne's like, you can't use that fucking letter. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool back and forth to see two of the really strong female characters in this show having this really cool moment. You know, where like Brienne realises, like it's like Brienne, Littlefinger, and Sansa all sort of come to this realisation that, oh wow, Arya has been through something.
Yes.
And she's come out terrifying.
Yeah, you can tell. And also the Littlefinger's face is just so
he
funny.
Looks so uneasy.
Because it's just his like mouth, he's just like, you know, like almost when you have someone have the when they're about to cry and their bottom lip starts going.
He's like a guppy fish.
And it's like that, and he's just like, chaos is a ladder. Yeah, but it's just, it's good fight scene though, because she decides to at one point just not use any swords and just put her hands behind her back and start dodging.
Yeah, but it's because it's going back to the water dancer stuff with Syrio.
Yeah,
in season 1, and that's really cool because the problem we had is in season 1 the time skips are over much bigger periods of time.
Yes,
like they're over months and weeks as opposed to like hours and days. So the problem is you see Arya with Syrio and she never really seems to improve that much, and then Syrio's dead. But obviously you can now see that it worked very well.
Yeah.
And then that combined with her training in Bravos as well with the Faceless Man, she's got pretty scary.
Yeah, exactly. And she could just appear as anyone at any point.
Yeah.
She just appear as anyone. You're just like, oh, for God's sake.
So then we had the Cersei, and I just keep calling him Mycroft from the Iron Bank.
Yeah, Mycroft, yeah. I do.
They have a really awesome back and forth, like a lot of banter there, where obviously they're talking about in the previous week, like she's like, I've got your gold now. And he's like, yeah, we can go forward with that. Cool. We're going to back you.
Yeah. And then, but then they're also, at the same time, he's like, Mycroft's like, people would be upset because, you know, you don't owe us any money, so we're not getting interest. And she's basically saying, well, we can fix that.
Yeah.
Lend us more money. We can definitely fix that.
Pretty much. And then it has this really nice back and forward, because obviously in the past sort of season or so, we've just seen Cersei become this really ruthless killer. I mean, she always was, but now she's got the power to do it. Like in the first season, I think it was, she was always complaining about being born a woman, so she never had the power that a man would have.
Yeah.
And so she had to be subtle about things, where Cersei's character is a lot more overt.
Yeah.
Right? But now she has that, and she's being a fuckload more overt, but it's also showing...
we need new sheets.
I think it also shows that she's a really smart ruler as well. Like, she's actually really intelligent, like dealing with Mycroft and that. And did you notice there's a little nod to the books in there?
Which bit?
When they're having that back and forth.
Did she actually look at a bookshelf and nod?
No.
Collection of John.
No,
Have you heard of this man, George? I don't know what would George R. R. Martin's name be in Game of Thrones. It's got to be Jorah.
It'd be Jaehaerys Ray Martinez. Or it would be like Martin, because there are the Martins, isn't it? The family.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
it's something like that.
Yeah.
I went really Mexican with it. Jorge Martinez.
Jorge Martino.
He's from Dawn. But yeah, no, they mentioned the Golden Company.
Yes.
Which is, I believe the Golden Company is much more heavily referenced in the books.
Yeah. Because
the Golden Company is a mercenary army made up of deposed Westerosi lords and nobles.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, because I think Jamie has a little bit of an issue with that in the next episode. He has a little bit of an issue with they're mercenaries. They're not they're not loyal in a sense.
Stop skipping ahead episodes. What's wrong with you?
Nah, it's all right. It's fine.
See, this is what I told you.
Chill.
Look how quick we're going through.
And then they all died
because this episode is shit. That's why we're going through this episode so quick, because there was no substance to it.
I've got a note there before we go any further. Podrick's stubble. That's all. That put me right. Like I was like, oh wow. Podrick's got stubble. There you go. So that's probably the best thing about the episode so far.
So then Grey Worm and Missandei have, like, mutilated sex.
Yes.
That's about that.
Yeah.
It was like the most Pornhub scene I've ever seen in this show. It was like, look at my titties. Look at my mangled junk. I'm going to go down on you. A, B, C.
They've got I've got on here as well I don't think I'm skipping too far here, the Dragonstone Cave of Love.
I've called it the Rape Cave.
The Rape Cave. Because you never go into a cave with Jon Snow.
No, because you always get fucked.
Because one thing Jon Snow knows is caves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking
Either
caves.
way.
Things.
Yeah.
Caves and how to fuck
Now,
them.
that scene was quite amusing because I quite liked it because you've got the Children of the Forest?
Yes.
Get that right. The Children of the Forest and their drawings, and then you've got the early man drawings, all this stuff. So you've got these really primitive drawings, and then you have these very detailed sketches of these White Walkers with like blue. Somehow they've just invented blue kind of paint. And they put blue eyes in them and stuff like that. That's quite amusing. But he's like, come here, I want to show you something. It's like, oh yeah, what are you going to show her? Yeah, you going that way? Why are you going over there?
So that was kind of cool. The thing I thought was interesting
But that's another scene where the Jurassic Park music started. If you listen to the composure, I swear it goes... Da, da, da. I swear they just slowed it down.
I was watching Jurassic World earlier. So what I thought was interesting, is so they tried to do a throwback, right? Where Danny tells Jon, like, what's more important, your people or your pride sort of thing, which is like a throwback to him saying it a few seasons before.
Yeah.
But the problem I have is, to me, it didn't fit, like, at all. Because he's having a chat and he's like, look, the Northern Lords will not follow a Southern leader anymore.
Yeah.
Because they just don't trust them. So much shit's happened. Like, we could work together, but I'm sorry, they just won't follow you anymore. And then she's like, I'm Daenerys, Khaleesi of the Great Grass Seed, breaker of chains, bend the knee, motherfucker. Your pride is too much. I'm like, whoa. This seems like your pride more than his pride is getting away, because he's telling you, I mean, if I'm wrong, please point out, because I don't see it. Like, he's saying they won't follow you and lists reasons. And she's like, stop being proud, Jon Snow, Khaleesi, I'm breaker of chains, kneel before me, bend the knee.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking spiel every time. And I'm like, but he's not, to me, he doesn't seem overly, like, proud or being, you know what I mean, just in her face about it. He's just telling her reasons. And she's like, stop being proud, bow down to me, and then lists off, like, her 9,000 names again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's that thing where she doesn't seem to understand that no one cares that she's got so many names in Westeros. Yes. It's not about names in Westeros, because there is that thing where over in Essos, they have like, there's this mythological thing, because people don't seem to travel a lot, or they don't seem to mix. They're like, oh, there's this woman who is a mother of dragons and she's a breaker of chains, and it gives her a mythical status. Whereas just by repeating it, it kind of doesn't do anything for her.
Pretty much.
And then she's repeating it to someone who is or has been nominated as a king.
Yeah, he was elected by the people. Yeah. And like, I guess you could argue that she kind of was, but she
married into Dothraki.
She married into the Dothraki and then did magical shit. He was just selected to be the king. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's just me, but it feels like, I don't know, she did do stuff to be done by people, but I feel like a lot of hers was like, join me or die. That's the mentality I always get with her, which does come up next episode.
Yeah, which is actually a quote, official quote there.
But it's like, look at when she gets taken to, where's it? With the other widows of Carl's, Dosh Khaleen, and then burns it all down to prove that she's the other, and then everyone joins us. To me, that's a very threatening sort of moment. Whereas Jon's all like, my lords, if you don't join me, I'm gonna brood. They're like, oh, fucking broody Starks in Winterfell.
The other thing as well, that scene you mentioned with the hut, and they basically, all of the widows go there, and then the widows don't really have anything to do with the Dothraki anymore, and they're just all there. But surely that means that all of the widows have the same right as herself, in a sense, don't they?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but then she's just like, nope.
Yeah, burn them all.
Nope, burn them all.
So then they storm out onto the beach where they find out about more losses.
Yes, and she has a go at Tyrion.
She blames Tyrion for not being able to see the future, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I think we roughly talked about this when you were ill the other day, but it's like all of Tyrion's plans were, at least on a strategic level, relatively sound. But he can't predict for the fact that Euron can teleport across the continent.
Yeah.
And also that his brother outplanned him. At the end of the day, she knows Tyrion is a smart guy, but he's not a war leader.
Yeah.
So realistically, don't let him do your war plans.
Well,
that bothered.
The other thing as well is if she went to oh my god, my brain. Where's the Lannisters' house at? Castle Rock, that's it. So if she went to Castle Rock with dragons, there would still been no one there.
Yeah.
They still would have been marching on Highgarden, even High Castle. But they still would have been marching there, so it would have been like, maybe she would have destroyed Euron's ships with the magical fiery bullets from the sky again thing. But it's so she can have a go as much as she wants, but
I like the fact as well that like 3 people in that scene have to convince her to not turn up and just burn everyone to death.
It's more people. Every scene she mentions about burning people is more people that she needs to convince her.
Yeah. Go, Kitty, go.
Do your exercise.
Go, Phoenix.
He's dancing on the window. He's like...
One of Alfie's cats is just staring me down and scratching at the window. There's another window like 4 foot away that's open.
Open, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So it's like every time she needs more and more people to convince her to not just go and burn everyone. And it's like, get some real bad guy vibes from you here, cunt. And then, can we just this? I'm going to try and not rant too much about the last scene, right? But the thing that really sticks the fucking nail in for me is in this scene. She's like, "Brr, and Cersei has taken all the food in the Reach, so my army's going to starve."
Yeah, so you're like, aha, plot hole sealed at that point almost.
Right.
Like at this point, where's all the food? Oh, they mentioned food. Okay,
and then,
plot hole sealed. Good. Okay, so she's going to get back the food.
Yes.
Yeah, she's going to get back.
Because I was going to say, we mentioned, I think the week before, haven't we, about how the fact that food is an issue in Game of Thrones, like they actually bring up some real world concerns. Yeah,
and also the Tyrells, isn't it? They're known for all that stuff.
Yeah,
they have a lot of crops.
They're like the commerce sort of family more than anything. So then there's some filler scenes where Davos is like, "You're gonna fuck her," and Jon's like, "Maybe." She went into my cave. Then we have Davos correcting his grammar.
Yes,
which is beautiful.
Yeah. I've got that down here. 10,000 less, fewer. What?
Which is a throwback to when him and Stannis used to chat away.
Yeah.
Then we find that there's no bastards in Narth because they have a different culture. Then we have just a scene that's just about dicking over Theon again. Yeah,
of course. Before we go any further, though, I found out that Dragonstone is a real place. The steps, and the beach, and that lovely coast.
Yeah,
well, Spain.
I knew it would be a real place.
It's Spain.
Just fabricated.
Well, I didn't know if it was like blue screen.
No.
It's blue screen, so the beach bit and all of the kind of
you couldn't have something that beautiful.
It looks really nice.
So then we come on to the worst battle in all of Game of Thrones. That is dumb and not a good battle, and people keep going on about being great. But as I said to your wife the other day, it's basically like a McDonald's Happy Meal. It looks and tastes good, and then it's just empty fat and pointless and shit and awful. And shit.
Right, okay.
It's a visual spectacle.
Yeah.
I will not deny that, but it's stupid.
I quite like it. I think the idea that, well, the point is as well is that she's gone a bit crazy, so she's like, I'm just going to burn everything, even though she's like, I can't feed my army. She's like, I don't care. No one else is going to be able to feed their army either.
Right. So should I just get my ranting out of the way?
Yeah.
And then we can. Right. So basically, first of all, people have already pointed out to her that she could die to any arrow, right?
Yeah.
And why is she not wearing armor? Why does she not wear anything but that dumbass dress with that fucking hideous brooch?
Her hair is her armor
every fucking time, right? Then, not 20 minutes before, in the show, obviously, it probably been a few hours or days before. She says, we don't have any food. Right? Then they're catching out the fucking Lannister army in the open. They form a rough, squiggly line in front of the rough, squiggly line of supplies. She does a strafing run.
Yeah.
And instead of just strafing the entire Lannister army, which would have fucking murdered them and saved her some Dothraki,
Yeah.
she instead burns all of the fucking supplies that she needed. But why? But fucking why does she do it? Inform me thusly.
Because she's mad.
Yeah, well, great.
Because she's mad. That's the reason why. Because she's angry.
So then you have fucking Bronn use the ballista, the scorpion.
Yes.
Right? And now I've seen loads of people online be like, oh my god, what the fuck? It demolished that skull. Why the fuck did it only give him a flesh wound? Alright. So firstly, you got to fucking hit the dragon. That skull was not fucking moving. Right?
Yeah.
Also, that's a brittle skull.
Yeah.
Right? Dragons, at least to my knowledge, are not well renowned. Even in this, when they describe them, they're not like, oh, really strong bones. They're like, no, armour plating. They've got armoured scales and really tough muscle sinew. Right? So why the fuck did you think it was going to have the same impact as it did on that fucking skull?
Yeah.
Right? That pissed me off. Fucking no end. And why is Tyrion there? Why and how is Tyrion just on that hillside overwatching this fight?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got like his own entourage of Dothraki.
Why is he there? It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense from an emotional point of view.
And right, so this is something else, right? I feel like Jaime should have died in this scene. Okay? I feel like when he's charging at her, Drogon should have done what Drogon done, essentially. Yeah. But maybe Jaime slips past a little bit and actually stabs Daenerys. Doesn't kill Daenerys, but like gets her, I don't know, in the thigh or the arm fat or some, like wounds her, right?
Yeah.
And then dies. Because then you have two really good opportunities to character develop, because you have the opportunity to capitalise on Tyrion's grief.
Yeah.
Because in a couple of scenes or episodes previous, they mentioned maybe Tyrion doesn't want to actually be hurting his family.
Yeah.
And Jaime's the one he loves most in his family. So it would be like he's like realising now the
they bring it
of what he's
bring
doing.
It up in the next episode as well, don't they?
Yeah. So maybe like, you see what I mean? That would be it. And then Daenerys, she'd be like, oh shit, I'm not actually fucking invincible. I can't just dismount my dragon in the middle of a battle and start trying to pull out this 9-foot bolt.
Yeah. And
I just thought that could have been a nice touch. Like it would have
She did look a little bit like someone who was stranded on a motorway when their car's had a flat tyre.
There is one thing I will say I really liked about this battle. Oh, right, let me just actually... Two things I like. I did like the visual spectacle of it, right?
Yeah.
I like the fact that it was, what to my knowledge, the first big outing of a dragon in battle, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like really properly doing something. But equally, I feel it's unnecessary because what idiot didn't think giant fire-breathing flying lizards were going to be devastating?
Yeah.
Right? But it was cool to see. But one thing I really liked is if you think back to it, it's actually a really perfect throwback. The showrunners seem to love this, to what Robert said in season 1. He says only an idiot would meet the Dothraki out on the open plains.
Yeah. No
one could beat them, and we see that demonstrated.
Yeah.
And then, when he's talking about in his rebellion, he's talking about the first guy he ever killed was, I think it was a young Tyrell, he said, came charging at him, spear in hand, thinking he could end the rebellion in one thrust. And that is exactly what Jaime does with Daenerys.
Yeah.
That I thought was nice. I liked that.
Yeah. No.
Other than that, I don't think it was a battle scene. When people are saying, is this a better battle than Hard Home? And
it's not a battle, it's a slaughter.
Yeah, it's a one-sided massacre. It's just there for prideful Daenerys, once again, to swing her big dick around.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I don't need to see that because I know Daenerys is going to win these fights. Like,
yeah.
Oh, an open plain battle against, like, the Dothraki? You know they're going to win. Oh, armoured dudes with limited ability to shoot the air versus a fucking dragon? You know the dragon's going to win.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I just think it's just visual spectacle. It's like, You know how people complain that new Transformers movies have no story, they're just all about boom, explosions, haha, Michael Bay? That's exactly how I felt about this episode.
And also, I think that scene as well was to cause to finish on some kind of is Jamie dead or not type ending.
You knew he wasn't going to drown.
Well, I thought maybe,
Really?
and then... Well, we've had this discussion, but not on the podcast, in regards to what his armour is made out of and what his chainmail is made out of, because you think it's made out of wood or something.
It looks like boiled leather.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like metal.
And I'm thinking it's made out of cork, so floated.
The thing is, though, right, you can... Like, people really... I don't know, chainmail weighs a shitload, right?
Yeah.
But people really overestimate, like, how much chainmail restricts you, like, just plate mail, and that restricts your mobility. Like, there are videos of people... doing like parkour and shit in plate mail and doing full gymnastics routines.
Yeah.
Because plate mail is mobile. So yeah, it's going to be heavy and fucking really hard to swim in. And I'm not saying you could just casually swim out, but I didn't think it was as a big of a deal with him drowning as everyone else seemed to think. Especially because it's fucking Jamie Lannister, right? At this point, one of the protagonists of the show. If he's going to drown, it's going to be a long, prolonged shot of him falling deep like it was, but go even further, and then it's going to be like him bumping on the bottom with that little, like that really muted bump, and there's just a light, like the fucking sunbeam light is all the way down, and you see the bubbles leave his mouth, and then he dies. It would have been much more than a look, he's falling into the darkness. Dum 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 dum. Here's the credits. Some more credits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be such a quick cutaway.
Yeah, no, I understand that. No, I quite like the scene because what I quite liked about it was the fact that it started off like a Western fight, because like a Western attack, like you had the cowboys and Indians, because you got the Lannisters and everyone transporting all of their food, and then all of a sudden they hear like you've also got the mesas, you've got the flat topped mountains as well, and they're just like it's just like a Western. And then you had all of the horses rumbling and stuff over the hill, and they come over the hill, and a dragon appears, and you're like, "Oh, it's not a Western."
I think visually it was a nice sort of scene.
Yeah.
I don't think the editing was very good, but I think visually it's appealing. But that's what I mean. It was just a battle for the sake of a battle.
Yeah,
and
but
the entire reason for it as well is a battle for Daenerys' pride, which she keeps accusing everyone else of being too prideful, and that's all it is.
Yeah, and also it is because the point is that she doesn't want to be outdone by Jamie Lannister, which she did get done at Casterly Rock. Yeah. So she's just like, it's just a big up yours really to it. But also the fact I like the kind of the art direction when it's following Bronn around. Yeah. Because it's like that kind of I think I'd heard something about the director or the producers talking about Saving Private Ryan a lot and being influenced by that kind of chaos scene where you seem to be the only person wandering around and all this things happening around you.
But they did that so well in the Battle for the Bastards.
Yeah.
Like, John doesn't even notice half the shit's going on there.
Yeah. Well, John's John, he knows nothing, though.
And they kind of did that, like you say, with Bronn, but it's just like, overall, I just thought it lacked so much sustenance. Yeah. I think the issue is they're struggling with pacing in this series.
Yeah, I think it's the first time, though, that it showed that dragons can actually turn people to carbon.
Yeah,
like,
that
instantly.
Was nice. I really like that.
Because Jamie's standing there and then three people
and
just
like,
ash. Boom, and then the wind just blows them.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like I said, there are good elements to it, but I just feel like it was just there for the sake of it. Don't feel like it was particularly strong. Yeah, and Tyrion, I think the only reason Tyrion was supposed to be there is the fact that he's supposed to look disappointed. Yeah. So he's supposed to look like, oh, Daenerys, what have you done? And at the same time, he's like, don't, Jamie, don't do it. So he's kind of quite unhappy that the Dothraki come out with that comment, like your men don't know how to fight or something. Yeah. It's like, they don't know how to fight, and he's like, Yeah, but I think that's the end. Yep. That's the end. And then Bronn, that was quite a good kind of jump, save Jamie's arse type thing. Tackle. Bit of a lucky one though, really, I think. But yeah, so that's the end of, I don't know what number that episode was. Episode 4? 4. Wow. Episode 4, Spoils of War. Wow, Spoils of War. Really? Yeah, spoilers of war. I'm already fucking tired. Spoilers of war. Well, that's because you got the ranting out. You got the kind of... I did, yeah. The stress. I've been built on that for a week.
The stress.
To fucking listen to people telling me how wrong I am. I'm like, I'm going to fucking you wait.
I've got no specific notes on the next one, but I have seen it a couple of times, so I can...
Like, I just kind of say, I do get why people enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong to have enjoyed it, anyone who did enjoy it. I just think that it could have been so much better, because they've always been really quite... What's the word I'm looking for? They've been very sparse with their actual on-screen battles.
Yes.
And when you do get them, they're really... beautiful.
Yeah.
Or in some way, right?
Yeah.
Battle for the Blackwater.
Yeah.
Right? Was just really nice because it was the first fight of it and it was kind of distant because it was all in the sea and then you were having these character interactions. Back to the sea. And then you had, well, these are just some of the battles off the top of my head, right? And you had like the battle at Hardhome, which is just magnificent. Love that battle.
Yeah.
Because I can't even describe to you why I like that battle so much. I just think the cinematography is great. I think the sound design is great. And then them all just standing up. Mwah, beautiful.
Yeah, that's the best
Battle of the Bastards, again, beautiful
Battle
symbolism.
of Bastards, yeah.
And, you know, and there was always a reason for them. And even
that one, the one at the wall as well.
I actually haven't seen that.
You haven't seen the one at the wall? When Tyrion's pissing off the edge of the wall?
Oh, I've seen him piss off the wall, but that was in like season 1.
Was it? I don't know if it was I can't remember. They all merged into one.
With Stannis.
But the one where they've got they got Stannis and everyone. They got the not the wildlings. Well, yeah, it's the wildlings with the giants and stuff coming in at them.
But it's like, even look at like the very tame small battle at Castle Rock, right? Where it's like Grey Worm and the Unsullied.
Yeah.
You have this really beautiful non-diegetic battle where all the noise is just Tyrion talking. And it really sort of sums up what Daenerys' movement is about in a really beautiful way. And then it's like, herd dragons. And I'm like, okay, I'm bored again. I'm done with you.
Yeah, no, I can understand that can be.
It's like,
the thing is though, at the moment, the issue I'm having with at the moment is because, as we mentioned earlier, it takes so long to build up to a scene, or to a point in the story in the previous series, and sometimes even a whole series. Excellent, love that. But it just takes so long to build up, and now it's just literally done. It's like I'm gonna attack them with my dragons. I'm there. I've got to go to Castle Rock. I'm there. You know, straight away. It's not like even in this episode now, the one that we're talking about now, the crows take what? It's 2-week travel, and we established 2-week travel from Winterfell to the Wall.
Something like that.
And the crows take 5. Well, they look like they take 5 seconds. It's not an obvious montage. But you want some 80s music in the background, some kind of shots of Bran.
So are we on to Eastwatch now?
We are now. We are moving on to Eastwatch.
Eastwatch, episode 5.
I swear Eastwatch is in Skyrim.
I hated Skyrim, maybe.
Yeah.
Skyrim was shit.
Skyrim was good.
It's not.
Skyrim's good.
It was...
Skyrim VR, is that?
It was released how many years after...
2011.
But lost a shit of more features that Oblivion had.
Yeah.
How can you lose features? And some good features as well. And fuck it, we're not talking about Skyrim. Fuck Skyrim. Right, so, Bronn pulls him out, and it's hilarious.
Yes.
You're fucked. Don't you mean we're fucked? No. Genius. Then we have, she's like, join me or die.
Yeah.
Right, which is the fucking...
She goes, I'll give you a choice.
Yeah.
A choice.
That's not a choice. That's dumb. And then it's... Yeah, she's like, I ain't putting people in chains. I'll just join me or die. Oh, great. Okay. And then she's like, you know what? Burn them. Just burns fucking Randall and...
Yeah, Dickon.
Dickon Tarly.
Or Dickon.
Dickon, Dick off. And destroys, like Tyrion says, a great house has already been wiped out in this war. And there goes another one. That's the not Tyrells, the Tarly's done. That's the Tarly's gone. They've got no more successors.
Sam.
He's not a legitimate successor. He took the black.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
So
all the Tyrells...
interesting.
Yeah.
Throwback. She destroyed a great house, but it's what Aegon did to House Gardner.
No,
when he gave the reach to the Tyrells. He wiped out the Gardeners.
Right, okay. So she's like, I'm not going to be like my family or my father or my father's father. And then it's just like... actually.
Yeah. So now, again, she's like doing some real Mad Queen sort of shit there.
Yeah. And yeah, I do find it's a bit, because you've got Tyrion there as well, standing there, and I think the reason he's there is just to kind of have that kind of disapproving look of, well, I can't really do anything.
He's got the midget glare going on.
He's just like, I can't do anything, but you should really join her. Exactly. But then again, they're not going to be loyal to her. They're not going to like swear fealty. They're going to swear fealty for, as soon as they get a chance to, they're going to fuck off, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they are. Then we have the next scene where, as much as I was extolling the virtues of Cersei previously, being a good ruler, Cersei just refuses to accept logic for all of the next scene.
Yeah.
She's just like, nah, we'll beat them. Nah, no peace. Nah, I'm pregnant. Nah, I'm going to tell everyone that you're the dad.
I missed the pregnancy bit again. This is like the last time with the sheets.
She's like, for
completely
this.
forgot.
Just rubs her belly.
I thought she was hungry.
And he's like, who are you going to say the dad is? And she's like, you. And it's like, but if we go back a few seasons, wasn't it like if the incest ever gets fully confirmed, they're fucked as like an entire house because it will just ruin them? And she's just like, ooh, yeah, fucking.
Yeah, I think she doesn't care anymore. But now she's turning into a mad queen.
Yeah, there's two mad queens.
Yeah, there's two mad queens.
So, anything to say about that scene? Because it just seemed dumb.
No, but again, I think it's just showing the craziness of Cersei, isn't it? Compared to,
Yeah.
It's just basically comparing her and Daenerys and being like, well, there's not too much of a difference.
When to become one.
Yeah, Spice Girls.
Yeah. So then we have Jon patting the dragon, sort of hinting more at his Targaryen stuff.
I quite like that scene. You know why I like that scene? Because the CGI was so good.
Yes, it was.
The CGI was so good. They saved their whole budget up for
on
that.
the teeth. That's what was
the
really...
teeth and the gums and or the nostril when it opened and closed, and I was like, I'm staring at it going like, and I'm thinking, I'm sitting there. If it's a film, I wouldn't give a shit, but because it's a TV show,
right?
And you're like,
oh my god,
I'm just sitting there, and they're just like, and then you got the teeth and everything, and I'm just like, okay, I'll see when he touches him, because sometimes when they touch him, it just looks like they've just got their hand on a blue. I'm like, they've done that quite well.
So
they've done that very well.
That's Drogon sort of being like, I smell the Targaryen in you.
Yeah, but then again, you can say that, right? And I think that's probably it. But then again, there was that point where Tyrion took off. Took off the neck chains.
But
he was the breaker of dragon chains.
There's a theory that's pretty convincing about Tyrion being a Targaryen as well.
Yeah, Tyrion Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
Targaryen. His real name was Targaryen, and then they're like, no.
And then it's brilliant when she's like, aren't my children beautiful? And he's like, no, bitch, your kids are fuck ugly.
Yes.
And she just looks annoyed at him.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna burn you. And
yeah.
It's like, actually, they're fantastic beasts. Where do I find them?
Oh,
she's like, wrong franchise, John.
There's this, my friend Newt over here wrote this book. Then Captain Friendzone returns.
Yes, Sir Captain, Sir Jorah.
Sir Friendzone. He returns.
I will be here if you have me. And it's like, imagine if she just went no.
Fuck off.
She said no. But also that's an interesting... The main reason that's an interesting scene is that's the first time that Jon sees a more of a human side to...
Yes. He doesn't see this front.
To her, because she's hugging him.
Because I think in the rape cave, he sort of saw a more softer side of her as well.
Yeah, but I think it's the first time he's ever seen her make bodily contact with a bloke and just be like, oh, hello, nice to see you, give us a big hug and everything like that.
Yeah, fair play. Then we have the Ravens scouting.
Yeah, the very quick Raven scouting.
Well, the thing is, they might be Ravens in the north, like as in at the wall. You might not be walking into one nearby.
Now, it looked very much like they did fly from...
But did you see how much they show off, though?
Winterfell.
When he keeps flitting between all the different Ravens.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And then the Night King just looks and they're like, fuck this! Ravens out!
Yeah, but they done that last time, didn't they? Because when he went, do you remember, in a previous series, he was looking back at the wars, and he was a load of crows, and then the White Walker King saw him as the crows, so they could actually see him as really creepy and really like. So God knows what's going on there.
The Maesters still don't believe in stuff happening.
No, they don't.
They're still just being sceptical. There's evidence, actual tangible evidence, and they're still sceptical.
That's their job, though, isn't it? They said.
I thought they were recorders of history, not like professional skeptics.
The job is to scrutinise everything.
Shouldn't they at least investigate it? They're just sitting there going...
But then again, it's that kind of thing where it's like, oh, I can't be bothered. It challenges our view. It's that kind of like religion type view. What you tell me
is they're like Christians. They're creationists.
Not that, but it kind of they're happy with their current view, and it challenges their view in a sense.
So what you're telling me?
Well, anyone who doesn't want to change their views, not necessarily creationists, could be anyone. Creationists. Creationists are a ladder.
So the other what was interesting here. I mean, maybe it was just me. So you have the so they send like ravens, right? And then Varys and Tyrion are chatting away.
Yes.
And we see the message like from underneath. I think in maybe the next scene.
Yeah.
And it looks like some different language is written down.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so just have a different written language, it's not English. And then later in the episode, when we see Maester Lewin's one, it's written in English.
The Ravens translate it.
Oh, do they? Mid-flight?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe they do.
Anyway.
I did like that scene because Varys is like, he's like, what does it say? And he's like, it's a sealed scroll. And he's like, well, tell me what it says then. And he's like, yes, he's already read it.
Yeah, but I like that because then right there you have them being worried about Daenerys' actions. And Varys, who served the Mad King, is like, I used to tell myself that it wasn't me doing it, it's him. Like, he's talking about how he excused himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And pushed himself and distanced himself from those actions. But he's worried it's going to repeat itself if they don't help guide Daenerys down a better path.
Yeah, and also it's he's Tyrion's first time you see Tyrion drinking a lot of wine for a long time.
Yeah, got a tits of wine.
It's just like, yeah.
So then they decide to catch a white, essentially.
Yeah, it's the
which,
most,
by the way, is the same
suicidal idea ever.
Which is the same as the leak we talked about, if you remember. That's what the leak said, they were going to go catch a white.
Yeah, and actually the leak also said about...
The leak actually also called the entire team that goes north, and that is the exact team that's going north.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And also later on in the... later on in this episode, he talks about Gendry and makes a joke about him not still rowing.
Yeah,
and that was also in the leak.
I've got that
exact line.
Yeah, and I've got that in 2 scenes' time. Calm down.
Yeah.
So then, John, like they're like, we got to go north, catch one, and she's like, you can't leave. I didn't say you could leave. And John's like, fuck off. You know what? You keep calling me prideful. You keep fucking not calling me Grace, even though I'm a king. I respect your fucking Gracely bullshit and shitloads of names. I'm going. Fuck you. Where's the trust at?
Yeah.
And it was good because John has been super passive this entire season with regards to Daenerys.
But it was that question, wasn't it, of are you actually free or not? Yeah. And it was the same thing with her assistant a couple of episodes ago, and then they were like, well, could you leave?
Yeah.
Like, you're not a slave, but could you leave if she said to you, you know, if you went, I just want to go now, I want to go back to North.
Yeah.
And then she's like, don't know.
So, yeah. Oh, here's a question. So they keep going on about going north, suicidal, let's capture them white. But in the north, they keep burning all the bodies because anyone who dies essentially seems to come back as a white, right?
Yeah.
Like when we first found out about White Walkers, the Night King was fucking hundreds of miles away from the wall, but when someone died, they turned to a white.
Yeah.
Surely there's got to be some sick people you could just take to the wall, let them die at the wall, let them reanimate as a white and catch it, rather than ranging off into the fucking north.
They don't even need to do that.
Or just kill someone.
Yeah, because wasn't that...
Got some Bolton prisoners.
So the guy originally that was in... the guy who was in the wall, wasn't he? Was it Castle Black? The one who turned into a... He turned into a White Walker, well, not a White Walker, but... A white.
Yeah.
He turned into a white then and there, didn't he? So, it doesn't need to be that close. They could just have him dead on that side of the fence.
Yeah, So then we have Arya and, Sansa. We have the great room where everyone's like, fuck it, we should have made you queen in the north, Sansa.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe. And Arya's like, you're a bit of a cunt, really, aren't you?
She's like, you like nice things.
Yeah. And Sansa's like, well, you have to be a bit diplomatic with stuff.
Yeah.
And Arya's like, yeah, but you also didn't try and dissuade them at all.
Exactly.
So I think they're both a bit right. You can't just go around offending everyone like Arya seems to want to do, but equally, if you're not trying to go for the throne like Sansa keeps sort of making out she's not, you have to defend Jon a bit rather than just being like, trust in him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you need to make a bit more of an effort.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She's just really there to keep the peace at the moment, though, isn't she?
Yeah. So then we're back at King's Landing. Davos, Gendry, and he makes the joke. He makes a sort of fourth wall breaking joke about still rowing because that's been like an internet meme. And like we said, that was also mentioned explicitly in the leak.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And then he's got a warhammer just like his dad.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't use swords, I use this. It's like, ugh. And then you had the cameo when they're in the boat with I can't remember the name, the English comedian.
I thought it was him. I wasn't sure.
Looks a lot like him. The guy from like he's not League of Gentlemen, is he? No. Bits and pieces, stuff like that.
I did think it was interesting.
No one remembers his name.
I thought it was interesting that he's just like, eat this crap. Your dick's gonna fucking just burn through your chainmail.
I love it. But you could tell he used to be a smuggler, though.
Yeah. It's like, if you take this to D&D, right?
Yeah.
Davos just crit succeeds on his persuasion check. And then Tyrion walks up and crit fails his stealth check.
Yeah. He just like walks past him and he's just like, waves at them. They're like, we've been looking for a dwarf with the same scar as you.
He's like, nope. And then Gendry just smashes a bitch.
Yeah.
Full on just smashed him, showing him what those years of skins acting is like.
Exactly, yeah. It's just like, fuck you.
So then we go back to brother-sister fucking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was interesting because she's going fucking patting her belly. Another kid. I think she's going to miscarry.
Yeah.
Because,
probably.
Was it Maggie the Frog, I think the witch's name was, in the beginning of season 5?
Yeah.
She said you will have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And golden will be their crown and golden will be their shrouds. This kid's going to die in the womb. Yeah. She's not going to have the 4th kid. That's what I reckon.
Or it's going to be a dragon. And she is the 3rd Targaryen.
Interesting thing.
What happens if they find out that she's Targaryen? Right? Imagine that. She's Targaryen. No, but she's Targaryen. And then Daenerys is like, oh shit, so yeah, you are the correct claim to the throne. Sorry.
Jon is, though. Anyway, so interesting thing.
They still ain't done it yet, though.
Interesting thing. That'll happen. That'll happen either next or the last episode of the season.
I do hope it does.
It will.
It's
I guarantee
happen. I do hope it doesn't, though.
They're going to fuck in a boat.
I don't.
That's what the leak says. I trust the leak.
I don't want them to do that.
I'm alright with it. I'm going to see Emilia Clarke's tits again. Banging.
I don't think she shows them anymore, does she?
Don't know. Probably not. Doesn't mean I can't want them.
Yeah.
Beautiful woman. Interestingly, so Daenerys is supposed to have 3 betrayals. Right?
Yeah.
Because in this scene, there's chatting about, try and get Tyrion to come back to our side, come back to the family and all that. Right?
Yeah.
Between Jaime and Cersei when she's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Now, Daenerys is supposed to suffer 3 betrayals from her prophecy. One of, was it love? Or whatever it was. And that's where Khal Drogo died because of the witch.
Yeah.
One of gold. And that's where Jorah betrayed her for gold and a pardon.
Yeah.
And the next one is of the heart, I think it was.
Okay.
It could be Tyrion going back for the love of his family. I don't think he will, but it's just an interesting thing I saw someone say.
But then if it's not that, what else would it be?
Fuck knows. You could claim anything.
Dragon dying.
Yeah, the dragon dying. Oh, she got betrayed because...
The dragon dying and is a White Walker dragon and therefore that's betraying her.
The betrayal of the heart is her and Jon fucking because he's actually her nephew, so they can't keep fucking, but she loved him. You know what I mean? There's so many things you could claim as the betrayal of the heart.
Yeah.
I just thought that was an interesting one.
Yeah, interesting.
So then Gendry just walks up and he's like, I'm Robert Baratheon's bastard. I don't care that he told me not to. And he's like, oh, you're slimmer than your dad. He's like, you're fucking shorter, mate. It's just some quality banter. And it's like seeing a new Ned and a new Robert.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Sam snaps at Gilly
Yes. I don't care about them 15,000 shits that Grand Maester's had.
Steps.
It's like steps. They said steps. What's an annulment?
Yeah, then she reveals that Rhaegar officially got annulled and married someone else who's going to be Lyanna.
Yeah.
So that would mean that Jon is a legitimised Targaryen and is the actual rightful heir to the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
But right, so this is what I think is there's a load of people online claiming like the patriarchy here and bitching about it.
I'm gonna say that at one point in the next series, this is completely unsubstantiated. I have no idea, but I'm gonna say at one point in the next series that Daenerys finds out about Jon being the rightful heir and decides to kill him.
Maybe.
I reckon Jon's gonna die, and it's gonna be by the hand of Daenerys.
Maybe.
I reckon.
But back to the patriarchy thing.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, it's typical of a man interrupting a woman. Now Gilly knows what every woman feels like in a meeting ever. Was one of the tweets I saw about it.
Well, they haven't been in a meeting with a woman, have they?
Well,
oh.
I mean, that aside, because they're obviously digging at the writers, but the issue is, Westeros, in this fantasy setting, is 100% a patriarchal society.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But I mean, that's exactly how it's made.
Exactly.
It's entirely a patriarchal society. So, anyway, he's just interrupting her because he's fed up anyway.
Yeah.
Right? He's not doing it in a meeting, not being like, woman, you'll fucking be in your place. He's just interrupting her like a fucking human. But also, even if he was, that's their society.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. It's like with powerful women in it.
Yeah.
Cersei's only powerful because she was married to a king that made her a queen. And then she was queen mother.
Yep.
And then she's back to the queen because all of her kids are dead. And in regards to Daenerys as well, she's only powerful because she married into Dothraki, and then there became the Khaleesi, and at that point, after that, and after they've only become, they haven't become powerful out of nowhere.
No.
They haven't just been like, I'm a woman, I'm going to fight against the system, because the system in Game of Thrones, and George R.R. Martin said it before anyway. He's like, George R.R. Martin knows, he's like, well, no, the reason why there is so much abuse and everything against women is because that's what it's like, and that's what it would have been like if it was set in medieval times, for example. In real life, it's real. He said it's based on true events.
So then, Arya stalks the shit out of Littlefinger.
Yeah, but she's been led on.
She's been led
up the ladder.
I really don't think. I don't care, because I feel like she might be suspicious of Sansa, but I feel like she's the type of person who's going to confront her. And she'll be like, why did you write this letter basically telling Dad to give up and all that?
Yeah.
And then Sansa's going to be like, because Cersei was...
That's an old parchment though, isn't it? It's from a few series ago.
Cersei was holding me prisoner in King's Landing and forced me to write it. And I was going to be like, oh, okay, Littlefinger needs to die. And then like Sansa's going to be like, where did you find this? Like, Littlefinger's like, he knew he was blah, 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 figured it out. Like, I feel like Littlefinger just isn't a threat anymore. Outside of King's Landing, where he had all this manipulative power, I feel like he's just stranded. But
why is he doing that though? For her to find it? I mean,
I feel like it's because he's trying to drive a wedge between the Stark kids, because he knows if they unite against him, they'll eventually find out, or he won't be able to influence them. But I think in his mind, he can control Sansa.
I think in his mind she trusts. I don't think she trusts him at all. I don't think she trusts any man. No, I wouldn't.
I mean, I kind of wouldn't either.
No, I wouldn't.
But I just feel like he doesn't have any real power.
Yeah, she's only using him though because of his army.
Yeah, because of the Knights of the Vale. Which they already said the Knights of the Vale came here for you, so they're probably not really that loyal to him anymore. So just kill him. Take him north, kill him by the wall. Take him, and then he's a white.
Oh yeah.
Take him back and be like, look, this is Littlefinger. Remember Pachaya Baelish.
Yeah, Chaos is a White Walker.
Then we have the ultimate forming of the Suicide Squad in the prison cell.
Oh yes, that was so Suicide Squad.
Everyone finds out everyone's connected in some dirty laundry kind of way.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Suicide Squad.
That was great.
Let's go.
That was great. They're like, you got the guy with the eye patch, you got the guy with the burnt face, you got the guy who's been brought back to life, you got all of the superheroes.
Two guys that have been brought back
and
to
they're
life.
just like, I'm just I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That, like, they come up to them and like, hey, let's band together because we're all got to go in one place.
Yeah, let's all go north because
let's all go north.
If the leak is correct, right? Because it was correct about everyone who was going to be there. If it's correct, then next episode
they all die.
No, it could be episode 7. To be fair,
they all die.
Well, basically, if the leak's correct, next episode they're going to be on an island. Thoros of Myr, the Red Priest, is going to be killed by a resurrected polar bear.
Yeah.
Then they're all going to get away because Daenerys comes to help, except for Jon. Then Jon is saved by Benjen. But during that process, Viserion, one of Daenerys' dragons, is killed and resurrected by the Night King.
Yeah.
That is what's going to happen based on that leak. And I believe it.
Yeah, I reckon so. And that could be the betrayal of the heart.
I reckon the ending is going to be... I reckon that's going to happen. In Season 7, some more shit's going to happen. And the ending is going to be resurrected Viserion, breathing fire on the wall and it crumbling.
At the end of the season, yeah?
Dun 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 crumble, lots of crumble, apple crumble, what a crumble.
Apple crumble. Yeah, no, I think that's going to happen as well, to be honest.
Yep. I'm
just trying to work out what can happen in the next episode.
That big fight. It's going to be mostly that big fight.
Yeah, because they've gone through now. But this last episode was as you mentioned, it's a lot more story, but it is a lot quicker. They're trying to put everything in.
They do.
There's no filler.
No.
They're just like, we need to get all this in quick because it's not going to make any sense otherwise.
It's all killer, no filler.
I wonder how much they cut out though. It looks like they cut out loads.
Yeah, they cut out fuckloads. That's pretty much the episodes.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to discuss or add to that?
No. However, I do think now I'm getting more and more. It's more and more likely that Jon's going to be killed by Daenerys.
I think Jon's going to fuck Daenerys. I think they're literally going to fuck.
Yeah.
And then I think the betrayal of the heart is her finding out he's got a more legitimate claim than her.
Yeah.
Maybe before he does. And then she either tries to kill him or carries on the war between, you know what I mean?
Because then that would prove that she's obviously gone crazy.
I'd just like to point out as well, I feel like at this point, to me, I've discussed with you how I think they are really badly writing her character. Right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like if she becomes the villain, I think her character as it's written seems fine because it's just her building towards becoming the Mad Queen, right?
Yeah.
And if she doesn't become the villain, then it's just proving the fact that the writers have no idea what to do with her character because she's been so bland and two-dimensional. It's like, I think if you imagine how she's been this season, with the knowledge that she's essentially descending into some form of madness,
yeah,
right, like power crazy madness, right, then her character is totally fine. It's written well and all that. But if you imagine next season she's just going to carry on being normal and not go Mad Queen and just be reasonable,
then why has she done all them things?
Exactly. This entire season she's just been a dickhead for no reason.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Well, hopefully not, because they do look at long story.
I hope so too.
To be honest, I also made a note on here, which I think is quite relevant. If this was still the books, they'd all be dead.
Yes, they would be. Everyone would be dead.
Everyone would be dead, and we'll probably be 100 years in the future with some other characters.
Yeah,
potentially.
Eddard Targaryen.
Or should I say they'd all be undead?
Oh,
yeah, maybe all undead.
Yep.
Eddard Targaryen. And there's that other one where Jon Snow's real name is Aegon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'd be Aegon.
I swear, didn't she say his name was like Jaehaerys or something like that?
Who?
Jon. I swear Lyanna would like whisper to Ned, she's like, his name's Jaehaerys or something like that.
She didn't say, did you hear his name?
Maybe.
His name's Aegon, did you hear?
Shut up.
Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah,
I heard that somewhere before, but I can't quite remember if that happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's about all I wanted to talk about this week.
Yeah.
You got anything?
No. Done.
I think that's it.
Done and dusted.
That's like an hour and 10 minutes long. To crack up.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, because that's like our exact finish time is every time it becomes an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like we can only talk for a certain amount of time about Game of Thrones.
Alright, cool. So this has been Josh and Alfie trying out our new sound system, the NOWcast
New sound
Game of Thrones podcast, Postcast even. Thank you to 9 people who watched this, listen to it even. And again, remember, if it was bad, leave us a comment down below and I will berate Alfie for it.
And if it's good, leave us a comment down below about how good it was.
If it was good, don't say anything.
If it was good, chaos is a ladder.
Chaos is always a ladder, Alfie.
Chaos is a ladder that Bran can't climb.
Oh,
oh.